These are called pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of rapid-acting insulin analog studies. Just to refresh your memory, pharmacokinetics is how your body treats insulin, and for this study, pharmacodynamics is what insulin does in your body, mainly the glucose levels and carbohydrate, glucodynamic function, I should say. And our objective is to examine factors that influence the time-action profiles of rapid-acting insulin analogs in youth with type 1 diabetes, utilizing the euglycemic clamp procedure. Euglycemic clamp procedure is the gold standard test to assess insulin action. Our subjects are admitted night prior to the study. We check their blood sugars every hour, and then in the morning they're fasting. They have 2 IVs. One IV is for dextrose infusion. The other IV is for frequent blood sugar checks. We bolus them, we give them a bolus, rapid-acting insulin, and then we infuse them dextrose from the IV. And blood sugar is checked every 5 minutes. And we adjust the dextrose based on those every 5-minute blood sugars. So for pharmacodynamic measures, we have glucose infusion rate, area under curve for glucose infusion rate, maximum glucose infusion rate, which is pretty much the maximum action of insulin, and time to reach 50% of maximum glucose infusion rate, and time to reach maximum glucose infusion rate. That is generally a measure of the time of peak insulin action. Our pharmacokinetic measures are insulin concentration, C insulin, area under curve for C insulin, maximum insulin concentration, and time to reach C max. So now let's go back to our study. The first study we have is warming the infusion site. Previous studies demonstrated that warming the insulin infusion site, injection site, or even the ambient temperature increases insulin absorption from the site by increasing blood flow. This was the rationale behind developing the InsuPatch. It's a device that applies controlled heat around the insulin infusion site. And you can see that. I better show it with the pointer actually. So this is the insulin infusion set. You can see InsuPatch here, sandwiched between the skin. Whoops. I guess there's a reason why you shouldn't use the pointer, but between the skin and the infusion set, this is the tip of the catheter. So InsuPatch applies. InsuPatch warms this site during bolus, and it has a controller here. It is in a, this pump is in a special case that's for the InsuPatch. So when you bolus through the pump, it senses the bolus and it starts to work automatically for 30 minutes and warms the site. Those tiny wires warm the insulin, warm the skin, and it has a controller, temperature sensor. With the current InsuPatch, the temperature is 38.5 degrees, and it shuts off the warming if it reaches 39 degrees centigrade. So here are our results. This is a time action graph for subjects who were admitted twice. One insulin action test was done with InsuPatch, the other one was without, and they were randomized. Just by looking at these graphs, actually, you can tell that there was a shift in the insulin action. So we have on the y-axis GIR, glucose infusion rate. X-axis is time in minutes. Data in purple are glucose infusion rate with the InsuPatch. The one in green is without InsuPatch. As you can see, the graph with InsuPatch is shifted to the left, suggesting an earlier action of insulin in this case. And our Tmax data supports that. Our time to reach maximum insulin action was at 90 minutes with InsuPatch activation, and it was at 125 minutes without InsuPatch activation. How about time to reach 50% maximum action? In parallel to Tmax, our time to reach 50% insulin action was at 40 minutes, way earlier than time to reach 50% maximum insulin action at 58 minutes without the Insipatch. So we were able to demonstrate that aspart bolus effect was 35 minutes earlier compared to the same dose bolus when injection was given with the Insipatch activation. So what other methods are out there? Now you're looking at the cross-sectional view of skin. This is dermal layer, papilla, and this is the extracellular matrix with, it's very crowded here with fibrins, with other substances. So when you inject insulin, it needs to dissociate and go through all these layers. And then monomers are absorbed by the blood, it needs to go through the blood vessel and get into blood to function. You can barely see the blood vessel here, but if you inject hyaluronidase in that area, in the extracellular matrix, it dissolves hyaluronan, and look what happens. It, in a way, clears up the space for insulin to travel nice and smooth, and it increases the absorption surface here, so there is increased action, acceleration of insulin action when hyaluronidase was used in addition to rapid-acting insulin analog injections. And their data showed an acceleration of 30 to 40 minutes. That's pretty much the same for all rapid-acting insulins. And the other important thing was the insulin action was actually shorter with hyaluronidase injection as compared to the same dose injection without hyaluronidase. So it was fast in, fast out. Another method is the inhaled insulin. This is a Technosware powder insulin. Now they have a new delivery device, although bioavailability is not still that great. 50 to 60% of the insulin still doesn't make it to the blood. But their Tmax, time to reach maximum insulin, is reported as 45 minutes, which is impressive. Personally, I believe more research should be done in terms of titrating inhaled insulin and side effects, especially for our population before it's applied to pediatric diabetes treatment. Diaport is a new insulin infusion device, and from outside, it might look same. You have your infusion set here, but look where the tip of the infusion set. This is not, this is like a huge catheter maybe, but it's actually an infusion set. It delivers insulin to the peritoneum as opposed to subcutaneous area. And their preliminary data is also promising. It looks like they have a significantly faster insulin action with this type of delivery. So where are we in terms of applying these to closed loop? We're in the process of testing Insipatch with closed loop therapy. Actually, I'm running the clamp studies now for a higher temperature of Insipatch because we believe it will increase the blood flow to the area even better than 38.5 degrees centigrade. And Diaport, they have closed loop studies ongoing in France now. Hopefully we'll have some studies going in the United States as well. Hyaluronidase, also we are planning to do some closed loop studies with hyaluronidase in the near future. While we are planning those studies, there are active studies ongoing, and those are the bihormonal systems. A group in Boston, they combined insulin and glucagon to prevent hypoglycemia, and they had good success based on their abstracts, and they will be publishing pretty soon. They will be publishing their adult data pretty soon. At Yale, we combine insulin and pramlintide. Pramlintide, amylin, you're probably familiar with this. It's released with insulin, and it has effect. It slows down the gastric emptying. It also suppresses hepatic glucose output. So our rationale was to test if pramlintide will mitigate some of the postprandial glucose excursions when utilized in the closed-loop system. And this is the preliminary data, not published yet. So if you look at the bar graphs, you can tell that there wasn't much of a pramlintide effect in terms of suppressing or controlling postprandial glucose excursions. However, with lunch and dinner, there was significant effect. We've seen less postprandial glucose excursions with pramlintide use, although it looks like the effect is still delayed. So we have a second phase in this trial ongoing now. Where do we go from here? JDRF has a roadmap to artificial pancreas, and we're well aware that until we get to the fully automated multi-hormone closed loop, there'll be incremental steps, like maybe a hybrid system, which is shown by today, our study, which was proven to work actually good with, mitigating postprandial excursions, although not eliminating yet. And we are well aware that we need to test the robustness of the system during real-life conditions. And we just completed our study. These are also preliminary results. Prevention of hypoglycemia after exercise with closed-loop therapy. The total amount of, the percent of blood sugars within target range was significantly greater on closed-loop. And we were able to reduce numbers of nocturnal hypoglycemia with closed-loop. Although night following exercise, we did not reach some statistical significance, but again, this doesn't include the complete analysis. So we will be analyzing our complete data and publishing our paper. And moving to outpatient closed-loop therapy, smartphone connectivity is extremely important. Also, we have now the tablet platform where a CGM sends the information to the smartphone or the tablet that runs the algorithm, and that sends the information, the insulin dose, to the pump for insulin delivery. These are already, these projects are actually already ready for activation, although we're still in the process of FDA approval, however, only for the studies. But the beauty of this system is this can be applied to our day-to-day diabetes management, and I'm looking forward to seeing these systems live in daily diabetes treatment. Hopefully it'll be soon. Okay, in summary, we know that mimicking Mother Nature when it comes to designing artificial pancreas is proven itself to be a difficult endeavor. However, we are also well aware that closed-loop study is feasible in both children and adults, and it perfectly controls overnight blood sugars. But we have some hurdles, and we know how, we have methods to overcome them. We know we need more accurate sensors, maybe dual sensors to overcome these accuracy issues. We need improved algorithms. We need integrity of radio frequency transmissions and smaller user-friendly pumps. Of course, prevent computer and smartphone malfunctions, because that's the brain of the artificial pancreas, and other safeguards to prevent over-delivery of insulin, which is a potent hormone. And faster-acting insulins and/or innovative methods to accelerate insulin action, because insulin is still the key player in diabetes treatment and in artificial pancreas. And when I give these presentations, I generally conclude by saying that we need more outpatient studies for closed-loop. And now I have a clip for you. This is from Schneider Hospital. I'm going to take you to a diabetes camp in Israel. 18 kids with type 1. They have the artificial pancreas on, and they had the devices in their backpacks. During daytime, they were running around, they were swimming, they were very active. At nighttime, they had the full closed-loop control. And all the investigators are sitting there with multiple screens. So if there's any type of malfunction, there was an alarm window popping, and they were, taking care of the issue, whatever it is. And this is Dr. Moshe Philip, and it's cut short, but he was pointing the screen for the closed loop. So artificial pancreas is officially out of the research center, and I think we can say that maybe it's closer than we think now. Thank you for your attention.